Namaste, welcome to Courtroom. Hope you're doing well. So let us discuss the Jamia LLM 2021 question paper. This is question numbers 1 to 25, and then we'll subsequently discuss this in further parts. It's written Jamia LLM 2021, but I don't think the camera will be able to capture it due to the screen size. Which of the following statements is incorrect, it says. So slightly be careful with such questions. And don't forget in exam anxiety that they're not talking about the correct one, talking about the incorrect one. Okay, defamation is caused when a person causes injury to another person's reputation without any lawful justification. This seems correct. Defamation is a crime, not a tort. Most likely, here is your answer. Let me change the pen color to red so that you can, yeah, now it looks better. Defamation may be caused, this is perhaps the correct answer, not perhaps, in fact 99.99%. I just want to double check the other options. Defamation may be caused by libel or slander, by both. This is correct. Statements made under the defense of, this is also correct. So this one is our correct answer. Remember, we're talking about incorrect. So therefore, it is definitely a crime under section 499 of the IPC, correct, and a tort as well. Alright, let's move on to the second question. Tortious liability comes from the breach of duty. This is a standard. In fact, iski jo pura jo correct answer hai, that who has said this, iska pura jo correct answer is, I think it's Jolovich. Iski pronunciation, ये usually it's Poland वगैरह की साइड पे जो काम होता है, जो इनकी जो क्लासिक केस लॉ कह रहा हूँ, क्लासिक वर्क ऑन टॉर्ट्स जो इन दोनों भाइयों ने किया था हमारे. And this tortious liability comes from breach of duty. This is purely a ratta based question, all right. So there is just no escaping it. ठीक है जी. So always remember that these questions that you are looking at, these questions are almost always past years. Any LLM examination that you're willing to take, whether it's ILI, Jamia, DU, CLAT, there is no way out from past years. So please do go through past years under any and all circumstances, because these are easy marks to fetch. क्योंकि इसके अंदर ज़्यादा कुछ करना नहीं, सिर्फ रट्टे मारने, right? These are just classic examples of good questions, and these are again and again asked. These sort of questions are again and again asked in two papers specifically of the LLM, that is DU and AILET, NLE Delhi wala paper. So do go through those question papers and cover out these topics, especially these ratta portions. Alright, a music teacher committing sexual intercourse with a minor girl's rape consent. R versus Williams. Some websites will tell you that it's A versus Williams. It's if I'm not mistaken and if my memory serves me right, it is 1923 ka case law. It's a very classic case law on rape and consent and minors, right? Criminal jurisprudence ka what matlab, classical, again, ratta based question. All of this is in the past years. There is no way out that you will not be doing past years. The maxim res ipsa loquitur is now this is always a confusing sort of a question. अच्छा वो A versus Williams जो मैंने वहाँ पे बोला, it is usually R versus Williams है, लेकिन कई websites they just mentioned as A versus Williams. The maxim res ipsa loquitur. Now this is almost always a cardinal or a confusion that is perpetual, not cardinal. It's always perpetual की negligence है, evidence है. अब evidence का तो section 106 Indian Evidence Act के अंदर, that section is the application of this principle, and this is actually a concept of negligence, not a rule. So the thing speaks for itself कि भैया दिख तो रहा है. So it is almost talking about burden of proof, alright, burden of proof. So this is primarily a rule of evidence. That is how we mark it as. Now let me warn you, because see, law is interpretation based. So in some examinations, बहुत पहले की बात कर रहा हूँ, 2010-2011 के आसपास की बात कर रहा हूँ, sometimes when the examiner interprets this to be a rule of negligence, they can give the option both C and D, and then it will be a disputable sort of a question which you can raise an objection. But usually when you see, you're going to be saying that mostly it is marked as a rule of evidence. It is a concept of negligence, not exactly a rule there, but it's certainly a rule of evidence as given in section 106 of the Indian Evidence Act. To play it safe, I always mark it as rule of evidence. So therefore, I have something to object to if the examiner decides to go through this route. Right? No action for defamation lies, and so they are really after defamation, aren't they? Right? Absolute privileges, qualified privileges. Yes, so if you have an absolute privilege, such as Article 105 of the Constitution, wherein you are totally immune to anything आपकी जो defamation related है, तो अगर आप वहाँ से you are like completely immune, obviously no action for defamation will lie. What about qualified privilege? Qualified privilege such as a client attorney relationship, again no defamation lies, so the correct answer becomes both A and B. ठीक है जी, आगे चलते हैं. MC Mehta versus Union of India AR 1987. Great that they gave the citation, otherwise these questions always become disputable. Is a decision on absolute liability. It's a decision. अब कई जगह आ जाते हैं आपकी, अरे ये डिसीजन तो स्ट्रिक्ट लाइबिलिटी पे भी था, उससे हमने इवॉल्व कर दिया एब्सोल्यूट लाइबिलिटी पे. No need to get hyper technical in these questions. Just try to understand what the game the examiner is trying to play with you. Obviously, this relates to the question of absolute liability. Homework for you. You can pause this lecture right now. You can obviously keep on making a list of these topics. Now go study absolute liability. Look it up, read it, perhaps go through the judgment. यहाँ पे साथ में 2-3 ancillary questions. Who is the green judge or absolute liability? Who was the judge who propounded this concept, and who was the original judge who gave strict liability का concept? Was it Atkins? Right? Stuff such as that. Now these are all related MCQ. So once this question has appeared in any exam, right, this is how you read through a question paper, is that now I need to study all the ancillary topics that are associated with this question. ठीक है जी. Plebiscite, a device for democracy used for enactment of laws? No. Ascertaining the views of people on a policy matter of public convenience? Yes. Appointment of no. Elections? No. Right. So plebiscite is where you are asking the views of the people. Up till now, except for maybe one question, all of these are doable questions if your LLM prep is even if it's half decent. All of these questions are doable except maybe one जहाँ पे लड़ाई हो सकती है exam में. Endosulfan is banned in India under the. Now this is sort of a confusing question. Now this is a question that ideally, if I don't know, I won't even try to second guess it and I will skip this. But the answer is, because this is a 2000, this is 2011. Huh? So this used to be asked way back then in 12 and 13. This was a standard static GK question. UPSC वालों को बहुत ज़्यादा ये topic कराया जाता है. So option A is the correct one. Again, purely a ratta based question. Either you know it or either you don't know it. No application of law as such. The international humanitarian law relating to civil persons in times of war was codified in Geneva Convention. This is, I believe, ये हमारे जो डुनांट भाई साहब भी थे, IHL. Now international law, without preparing international law inside and out, don't even think of taking your LLM entrance. Don't. LLM entrance, international law, environmental law. Constitution, of course, is evergreen. IPC contract और वो सब चलता रहता है. Environmental law, international law, have to do it in and out. ठीक है जी. This isn't exactly a tough question, but this is either you know it or either you don't know it. You cannot pretty much use POE here, that is process of elimination, get the correct answer. The job of International Criminal Court is genocide and war crime. Genocide, war crime, and crime. This is disputable. This is objectionable. Only genocides, only war crimes. But as a person who constantly keeps on creating mock tests, I'll just try to figure out what the game the examiner is trying to play, or have they framed this question a little bit poorly. The job of the International Criminal Court is, I think they mean to ask the jurisdiction over which offenses, basically. Now, genocide and war crime, ये तो है ही है, right? So I believe, if my memory serves me right, it is genocide, it is war crime, it is crimes against humanity, and I think it's something to do with aggression, जो कि मैंने About Us ICC की website को अगर मैं refer करूँ from my memory, there were 4 things. So it's genocide, it's war crimes, crime against humanity, crimes against aggression, crimes relating to aggression, something like that. Now, if those two, this guy is including in this definition of crime as such, then this option becomes correct. But if they're generally up, that we can't ask the examiner what he's up to, so we can't say ki bhai for chori we go to the ICC, for dakati, for theft, robbery, crime basically. If the interpretation of the examiner is this term, then well we are stuck with this option. But looking at C and D, he is hinting that there is something going on with this option only to be safe, in fact to take a very reasonable doubt, because sometimes these objections don't work. In fact most of the times the examiners don't listen. सरकारी कामकाज, I'll mark it as A, because crime के अंदर वो मेरे को counter मार देगा कि crime क्या general crime के लिए ICC जाओगे. Let us say कि some general crime in your locality के लिए ICC नहीं जाओगे, but then फिर मैं counter दूंगा वो crime against humanity वगैरह, वही सब मैंने यहाँ पे cover कर दिया है. So therefore, looking at C and D now, this is an art that I'm not telling you that you'll be able to figure out very easily, because this is again and again looking at how these examinations work exactly. But this is genocide and war crime. ठीक है जी. Father of international law is Grotius. अब इनके साथ इनकी किताब क्या थी जी? On the law of war and peace. It has something to do with war and peace. He escaped in a book chest and then wrote that. He was a child prodigy. And this is standard, जैसे वो a lawyer's extra version, Julius Stone, standard LLM questions, right? Nothing out of the ordinary except this ICC wala. Under the convention of the law of the sea is the breadth of the territorial sea is breadth of the territorial sea is. They didn't ask for the limitation. I think it's, I'll mark it as 12 nautical miles from the baseline. ये breadth पे मुझे शब्द पे थोड़ा सा दिक्कत हो रही है यहाँ पर, but इतना ज़्यादा ये सोचेगा नहीं, तो यहीं पे मारते हैं 12 nautical miles from the baseline. ठीक है जी. Extradition is normally granted in, it is certainly granted in criminal cases, certainly granted in civil cases, both B and C. All cases नहीं होगा शायद यहाँ पे option, because all cases में there must be some exceptions. अब let us say कि the person was being prosecuted needlessly and he's ran away, he's been given asylum, and then he's moved on to another country, and then you're extraditing him even though you just want to violate his rights, etc. So then extradition obviously won't be applicable. So therefore I won't go with all cases. Can be some people may just mark it. I'll go with both B and C. That's a safer choice in my opinion. And as always, the answer keys, neither are these question papers available anywhere easily, that is, and neither are the official answer keys. सरकारी कामकाज है, नहीं दे दो उनकी मर्जी है. ठीक है जी. The principle of jus cogens, yes, that is the actual pronunciation, jus cogens, means it's a peremptory law of international. I mean, this is correct. Jus cogens is this one. This is the classic word-to-word definition. There is nothing more to discuss in this question. A state is bound by the provision of first treaty. No. A successor state is bound by the acts of, no. None of the above. No. This is, as soon as you hear this word, this is standard jus cogens, right? Okay. Pacta sunt servanda means this is LLB entrance stuff, right? The states are not bound to respect. No, they're bound to respect. The agreements entered into the states will be respected and followed by them in good faith. Here is your correct one. The states are under no obligation. No, you are. Though the states are bound to recognize an agreement into by them, but so this is option B is the correct one. This option D is confusing, by the way. It isn't as easy. Those states are bound to recognize an agreement into by them, but cannot be compelled to follow it. Sounds like a very decent option, but a good faith wala gets us to option B. Right. Which of the following is correct? Okay. Kyoto Protocol was signed on December 11, 1997. This is correct. Kyoto Protocol commits associated parties by setting internationally binding greenhouse gas. Ye bhi correct. Kyoto Protocol first commitment period ended on December. So I don't exactly remember the dates, but there were certainly commitment periods. And yes, because this was a current affairs sort of a thing. Yep, I'll go with all of the above. Hopefully I'm correct. Hopefully I have not made a mistake in this session up till now. Ho jata hai because I'm not referring to anything. I'm just trying to solve it as we go. The case of Frost versus this is anticipatory breach of contract. This is standard ratte wala question. If you have done the past years, ये तो मतलब this is absolutely standard now. Homework. Anticipatory breach of contract को revise करें. क्या होता है जी? Anticipatory breach, present breach. कृपया करके इसको रिवाइज कर लीजिएगा जरूरी, ठीक है जी। Which of the section in the Indian Contract Act 1872 deals with contingent contracts? 148 no, 129 no, 172 no, 31 yes, क्योंकि वो पहले आपकी वो void वाली लिस्ट आती है up till I believe 27 या 28, and then we go into wagering contract, then we go to contingent contracts, and then contingent contracts से नीचे सारी line शुरू होती है, right? So it's 31 definitely. The phrase quantum merit लिखा, quantum merit होना चाहिए, merit होना चाहिए यहाँ पे, literally means as much as is deserved. Yep. And the fact in itself, no, it certainly doesn't have to do with facts. That is Evidence Act का थोड़ा ना काम है यहाँ पे. Contract for the sale, no. As much as is gained, no. So we are going to basically quantum merit का principle क्या है? We are just going to reasonably compensate you for the job that you have done up till that date. That is quantum merit. So we are going to assess कि आपने कितना काम किया, right? ठीक है जी, आगे चलते हैं. Gratuitous promise. This is section 25. So again, now they are heavy on the Contract Act. It's not to be enforced. I'll go with this because the gratuitous promise, unless and until it's written and registered. याद आ रहा है section 25 of the Indian Contract Act, पिताजी is just offering you कि कल परसों iPhone ले लेंगे. So it's basically technically speaking, अगर आपने वो written and registered में नहीं कराया तो पिताजी नहीं, you can't take him to court. Hopefully you don't take your own father to court any which way कि exam clear हुआ iPhone 13 ले देंगे. So it's not to be enforced. Gratuitous promises cannot be enforced unless and until they are in writing and in registered homework. Revise section 25 of the Indian Contract Act. Communication of acceptance is complete as against the proposer. This is section 4 of the Indian Contract Act, classic, when it is put in the course here. When the acceptance is communicated to the proposer. Now, because we're talking about proposer here, okay, let us use some elimination to better tackle this question. When it comes to the knowledge of the proposer, communication of acceptance is complete as against the proposer when it comes to no, right? When it is put, मैंने तो रट्टा मारा हुआ है, that's why I marked it so like in an instant. But now let me discuss the other option. It is put in the course of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor. This seems correct. When the acceptance is communicated to the proposer, acceptance is communicated to the proposer. So how come communication of acceptance is complete? This could have been it, but no. This certainly isn't it. Right? Now we go to again. Communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor. So they have crafted out, thank God they didn't craft out one question only, वो B and D, A and B वगैरह वगैरह, क्योंकि can be crafted out from section 4 when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. Yes, this is it. If I am not mistaken, if I am mistaken, well then apologies, but I think this is it. Because मैंने वो दो चीज़ें रटी हुई हैं section 4 की. It's a very classic thing when you're teaching day and night out the same thing. Things tend to get into your memory like this. Now the term consensus ad idem means general consensus? No. Meeting of minds about the same thing in the same sense? Yes. So they are gone knee deep. They have gone knee deep into the Indian Contract Act. So you will also need to go knee deep in the Indian Contract Act. Reaching of an agreement, reaching of a contract? No. All right. A contract will still be a valid contract, so they have again madness about the Indian Contract Act. A contract will still be a valid contract if it is opposed to public policy. Will it be a valid contract if it is no. In restraint of marriage, sorry. In restraint of trade, no. Without adequate consideration, yes. You can sell your Ferrari for 10 rupees as long as there was no undue influence, coercion happening. Great, it is your Ferrari, sell it for 10 rupees. A contract will still be a valid contract if it is without adequate consideration. So it is always a factor when if the court is giving a judgment but certainly doesn't render the contract void. Which of the following maxims is not related to the law of contract? Okay, consensus ad idem. This is definitely related to the law of contract because it's one of the sine qua nons of contract. You need to agree on the same thing in the same sense. Both the parties have to be in agreement, the minds have to be in agreement. Then only can you get into a contract. So they are asking, it's not. Okay. Essentiomentum. This I believe pretty much means the same thing, right? So this should be also be ये आपका it is related to contracts. Ex nudo pacto non orator action. So इसका मैंने ऐसे रट्टा मारा हुआ nudo सी, तो इसमें nudo nude contract without consideration nude. This is also related to the contract act. Actors non facetary हमारे अरे पहले देख लेना चाहिए था. तो हमारा आईपीसी क्लासिक मेंस रिया आ गए हैं, मेरी रिया आ गई है ना, तो वहाँ पे काम हो गया है. ठीक है जी, चलिए इन दी सक्सेसिव पार्ट्स वील डिस्कस मोर फ्रॉम जामिया एलएलएम 2021. ठीक है जी, विशिंग यू ऑल द बेस्ट इन योर एलएलएम प्रिपरेशन. These aren't exactly very tough question papers, right? At least up till 1 to 25 अगर मैं reasonable हिसाब भी लगाऊं, or for a person who has done, reasonably done half their prep, will be able to do at least 18 questions. 7 तो ठीक है, एग्जाम एंग्जाइटी है, याद नहीं रहता है. मेरे लिए भी ज़्यादा आसान है कि यहाँ पे आसान है, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा फ़र्क होता है थोड़ा दिन रात पढ़ाने वढ़ाने में, बट थोड़ी सी बायस वायस हटा कर मैं कहूँ तो 18 क्वेश्चंस तो डूएबल ही हैं अभी तक, राइट? चलिए 7 में 18, चलिए 20 मान लीजिए रफली. तो इतने क्वेश्चंस at this level you have to get correct, right? Because the seats are far and few, like 15 16 odd seats, so therefore we need to perform really well. I believe out of this set of 25, if you're managing to get 20 correct, great. ठीक है जी, hopefully I haven't made a mistake in the section 4 वाले questions. If I have, well then you can correct it, correct those in your notes. ठीक है जी, see you in the other parts. Take care, bye.